This is probably like my 5th time making this video about hair weathering, but I think it's time for us to have this conversation again because hair weathering is chasing after people like never before. Let me give you a couple of examples of what hair weathering looks like.
I am back. What it do, baby?
Now, hair weathering refers to the cumulative damage that is done to the human hair shaft over time. Causes, there are different causes like environmental exposure to UV radiation. That's why using leave-in conditioners are so important. Leave-in conditioners actually protect your hair against harmful UV rays whenever you're outside, maybe depending on what job you work at. Leave-in conditioners are so important, but remember they had a whole craze that was like, no leave-in conditioners, we're not going to use leave-in conditioners anymore. And even though you're back using those leave-in conditioners, that time frame that you spent not using them did so much harm to your hair. Let's keep going. Air pollution, so different pollutants within the air when it touches the human hair shaft. If the hair is not properly protected against those things, those pollutants can break the hair shaft down. Leave-in conditioner. Weather conditions, different weather conditions like strong winds, or if you're from a really cold climate like I'm from Detroit, Michigan, or if you live in a really hot climate with no humidity like I live in right now, Nevada, these things can really lead to hair weathering if the hair is not properly prepared on shampoo day. We'll unpack that in a second. Coloring your hair and not doing it properly, like your box colors, or you following along with your favorite YouTuber, or perming and relaxing. There's a difference between perms and relaxers. So if you did something like a Gina curl years ago and then everything was fine, and then now your hair is slowly like getting thinner and thinner, hair weathering. Or if you did your own relaxer or went to somebody that wasn't good at giving relaxers, because a lot of cosmetologists suck ass, you know, like if you went to somebody that didn't know what they were doing, then long term your hair shaft can begin to weather if the chemical service was not serviced, if it was not done properly. I can't get the word out. Then is going to be hair color. It's the same thing for hair color. When you're coloring the hair or when you're lightening the hair, if it's done wrong and if the proper procedures are not followed, the cuticle is not closed properly, the hair is not neutralized properly, and then you run into issues. Just like I saw a video where women were relaxing their hair at home, and instead of getting a neutralizing shampoo, they used apple cider vinegar to neutralize the relaxer. It sounds like it was good then. No, it didn't. It sounded really stupid then, but over time it gets even worse. Your hair begins to weather. Things look really good at the beginning, and then it slowly starts to deteriorate. Now this next one is the one that's kind of heavy because it's hairstyling. Hairstyling is the #1 way, especially around women who look like me. I'm a black woman. I don't know if you noticed, you a black woman that look like me. Hair weathering is one of the hair weathering through hairstyling practices, and mechanical damage is one of the leading causes of weathering. Now, by you skipping certain things like leave-in conditioners, or by you layering products on top of the hair shaft, you make the hair weaker. How? The thing that strengthens your hair shaft is the sebum. But if the sebum is not able to touch the hair shaft because you have layers of product on top of it, your hair will become weaker over time. People say all the time like, oh, I hear you, but I use double the leave-in conditioner so my hair can be extra moisturized until the sebum do its thing. It doesn't work like that. Sebum is a wax, and you put all of these different products on your hair. Please please, you let me know when you've seen a wax go through, penetrate, and mix and push through, and then mix with oil without it being heated up and things of that nature. It doesn't happen. So if you put layers and layers of product on your hair before the sebum is able to reach it, then you end up causing way more harm than good. Right now my hair is in a clip because it's a little bit too curly, because I ended up going ahead and curling my hair because my bounce had failed, right, from when I did my hair just 3 days ago. I have not put any oil in my hair, any grease or anything. The reason that I had to recurl my hair because my hair has fell flat is because sebum had came out. It's only been 3 days. So this time frame that you guys think that you have to beat or match with the sebum, you thinking the sebum takes weeks and days and on top of days to travel down the hair shaft, is not true. All you have to do is keep products off the scalp and off the hair shaft, and the sebum comes down. Like, I'm not making it up. There's nothing else on my hair. When I straighten my hair the last time, the video link is in the description box below. Go watch that video. This is my hair right now, is this hair 3 days later. You can literally just clip your hair up and keep it moving. But if you are constantly raking your hair, your hands through your hair and causing all of this mechanical damage, then you're not going to retain the length that you want to retain. I love y'all so much, but detangling y'all hair wet, we talk about it all the time. I'm not gonna go into it today, but those are the types of things that make the hair shaft weaker over time and then causes it to weather. And once weathering sets in, when your hair begins to weather, it could be for a bunch of different hair shaft disorders. Here on the screen are a bunch of different hair shaft disorders that can be inducted or induced by a lot of the different practices that you guys have been following for over a decade now. So it's really, oh man, where my little piece? So it's really important that you guys get to a point where you're learning the things that you should and should not do for your hair, because weathering is real. Improper heat styling and not knowing what you're doing is going to really damage the hair. There are certain steps and procedures to doing your hair and straightening your hair on a regular basis that will help you avoid heat damage and help you retain length. You need to figure those things out. I have over 1,000 videos here on my channel. You can look through all of them and find the information that you need, or you can join the Growth Cycle Blueprint or the 7-day challenge that breaks everything down to you. Brushing and combing the hair while it's wet is going to cause so many different hair shaft disorders, because the hair is the fiber that's weakest when it's wet. We talk so much more about hair weathering in this video here, so make sure you go check it out. But before you do that, let me go ahead and break down the difference between the 7-day hair growth challenge and the Growth Cycle Blueprint, because they're very different. And then after that, we'll go over a couple of different reviews from people who have taken both challenges, who have taken both the 7-day challenge and finished the Growth Cycle Blueprint. And then we're gonna go look inside to see exactly what it looks like, all right? Because hair weathering is real. Winter is here and it has approached you guys. And every day that you go on YouTube, you see a new old ex-YouTuber that you used to watch with their hair getting thinner and weaker, and they doing a big chop after big chop. Well, you don't have to do that. And if you want to know how to avoid that, then make sure you stick around until the end. It's almost over. Lastly, if you want to join the 7-day challenge or the Growth Cycle Blueprint, you can do that with just 4 easy payments. When you log in, when you go over to my website, you add the course to the cart, right? And once you add the course to the cart, before you go to put in any of your payment information, you scroll all the way down past where you put your cart information in, just like you see here here on the screen, and then you click on where you see that sizzle icon. You click on sizzle, and when you click on sizzle, follow the promptings, right? When you follow the promptings, once you set it up, you will be able to sign up for just 4 easy payments of whatever's in your cart, girl. So many people sign up for the 7-day challenge or the growth cycle blueprint and then get a bunch of herbs too. So you can do the same thing. I love you so much. Thank you for sticking around this far. Now let's hop into the computer so you can learn the difference between the two. I'm so excited.
I'm so happy to have you here on my channel. Thank you for sticking around thus far. Now, as we've talked, I know that some people's boxers have been in a bunch, but I'm telling you, if you stop using oil just for a second, just stop using oil, stop all of your team natural practices, and really sit down and learn the science of the human body, you are going to see changes, and you are going to see your hair in a way that you didn't think was possible. You will see that the oils, the butters, the greases, all of these pomades, creams, all of these different products that you're putting on your hair, you will see how those additions to your routine have actually caused you more harm than good. I'm putting these comments up on the screen so that way you're not always taking my word for it. Sometimes you can just simply see what other people have to say, right? Because me saying it over and over again, I know for some people it's like, oh, she's just trying to sell us something. No, baby, this is the science of the human body, but all of our patterns have worked completely against the science of the human body. And when you begin to work with your body instead of against it, so many things change. So many different things are put into motion, right? But most of us are confused because we don't understand the human hair shaft. We don't understand how the human hair shaft works. None of us understand the simple fact that the human hair shaft does not need a bunch of oils and butters and creams. Your scalp self-oils itself and the hair shaft, but you adding all of these extra things to the scalp, all you're doing is causing inflammation and feeding the yeast and bacteria that lives on the scalp. You're adding additional things that the body has to fight whenever you're greasing and oiling the scalp. You may see you adding moisture, but this is what's actually happening, and a result of that is dandruff. Now, dandruff is something that can be treated, but did you know dandruff is not oily scalp? I mean, dry scalp. Dandruff is oily scalp. And what you're looking at right now is the sebaceous gland and the sweat gland. The sweat gland is right on the scalp. So when you sweat, water's gonna come right up. And not only does sweat come out of the sebaceous gland, the sweat gland, but there are different forms of bacteria, and some of the same constituents that are in your urine come out through your scalp. So by you doing nothing but adding extra greases and oils and butters, again, all you're doing is feeding those forms of yeast and bacteria and powering them up. That's why our Parapurge sold out something crazy. Literally in less than 48 hours, we were sold out because it kills different forms of yeast and parasites within the body. We're not putting this on the scalp. We're putting this in the body. And when you keep the scalp clean, all of these different forms of yeast and bacteria that end up causing inflammation that weakens the hair's follicle over time, all of those things are amplified when you're oiling and greasing the scalp. You're not helping. And I know that you guys are locked into it, but if you allow yourself to break free from invisible chains that who knows who has put on you, then you will notice so much change within your body. Most of you, all you're really doing is cutting off your blood flow, your oxygen flow, and powering up all of the different forms of yeast and bacteria that live on your scalp. but you're not actually doing anything to heal the hair by adding oils and butters. You're not healing the hair or helping the sebum to touch the scalp or to touch the hair shaft by adding more oil. It doesn't really make sense. These are the things that I really want you to think about, right? And most of the time, everybody is hell bent on all of these treatments, right? Like you want to do keratin treatments and silk amino treatments. All these things do is put a layer on top of the hair shaft. It doesn't repair it, right? And this is coming from a licensed cosmetologist who, if I was standing behind the chair, I would have the ability to make a lot of money on keratin treatments if it's something that I decided to do. But I decided not to do it when I was behind the chair because I understand the complexity of a treatment like a keratin treatment. It is not repairing. It is putting layers on top of the hair shaft, but the damage is still there. So when you guys see all of these growth aids, y'all think that this is what it's doing to the hair. You think that it's going within and nourishing. No. Your patterns and your routines are what will help you retain length. If your hair is long, but the ends are broken and allowed to split up the hair shaft, then it's going to keep splitting. But most of us have our favorite oils and butters, and the reason that you feel like you can't live without them is because the oil puts a coating that helps you ignore what's going on. This is what the inside of your hair shaft looks like. And what you're looking at on the inside, that is the cortex, right? This is where all the nutrients actually gets to. This is the important part. You guys never reach that with oils and creams and butters. That's never reached. All you do is block that, so the nutrients can't get in. So all of the key constituents that live within sebum that comes directly out of your scalp's pore, it can never touch the hair shaft, and it never gets to the cortex to do its work. Never, because you've layered products on top of it. These are the things that you have to understand. But across social media and across everywhere, you guys think that you can skip over shampooing the hair, and this is what's on your scalp, bacteria. You're supposed to remove that, but you don't do that. You add oils and creams and butters, and these oils and creams and butters actually do the opposite of what you want them to do. This is Staphylococcus. This is the natural bacteria that lives on your scalp right now as we speak. But it's not a big deal as long as you shampoo on a regular basis. You don't allow it to overpopulate. But if you are a person who is constantly putting stuff on your hair, constantly putting stuff on the scalp, you have allowed it to overpopulate. And when it overpopulates, that's when you get the type of scalp inflammation that causes bacterial infections and so many other things. But all of these things can be avoided. All of them. Every last one. We just have to get to a place where we are actually looking and searching for the science of the human body instead of constantly looking for the next product to buy to put on your hair. Stop looking for hair products to buy. And the thing is, this is not a video telling you, oh, come join the 7-day challenge. It'll help. The blueprint will help, but you can really make these decisions to make these changes for yourself. You don't have to follow up behind anybody. The science of the human body is extremely simplistic. And when things are so simple like this is, it makes people believe that they have to add extra things. It makes you believe that you have to do all of these extra things because it can't be that easy, but it really is. It's really that easy. Your body's that simplistic. We grown, right? When you are making a baby or doing things that make a baby, even if your intention isn't to make a baby, what ends up happening is your body has a self-lubrication. It's a self-lubricant. Our body lubricates itself. So if down there lubricates itself and gets the party rolling, what makes you think that the human scalp doesn't do the same thing? These are the things that you need to think about. But you see hair products and you think a hair product is going to do what this automation is displaying. No, all these different forms of products that you guys are using, even if they work, they're killing bacteria. They're killing the overgrowth of bacteria. And when you sit in a room with the doctors, when you sit in a room with scientists, especially dermatologists, they're so irritated, or not even irritated, it's laughable. All of the different hair products and the different hair scalp treatments y'all are using, like, oh my God, this grew my hair. No, it did not. It did not grow your hair. I'm going to tell you what happened. Everybody's hair grows, regardless of the color of your skin. Everyone's hair grows, but everybody's practices are not the type of practices that allow you to retain length without mechanical damage. So if you are a person who's always having your hair in ponytails or braids or any tight style, anything that forms a lot of tension on the hair shaft, you're going to experience the slowing down of the natural hair growth cycle. So you add a product to the scalp, it kills all the yeast and bacteria that's slowing down the hair growth process, and then you're like, oh my God, this product grew my hair. No, it didn't. Your hair was going to grow anyway. Your patterns and routines slow down that process, right? So when we're talking about the 7-day hair growth challenge, the 7-day hair growth challenge is very, very straight to the point. It's a set plan for you to follow through a 7-day period, and once you get to that 7-day period and you make the necessary changes, it really helps you turn things around. Whereas the growth cycle blueprint has the 7-day challenge in it, but it's the 7-day challenge on 10,000, right? Because when you are inside of the 7-day challenge, after you cure your scalp inflammation, which you will, after you cure your scalp disorder and your hair shaft disorder, which you will, you then need to set new patterns and routines. And the growth cycle blueprint does exactly that. It helps you to set new patterns, new routines, all of the things here on YouTube that people are constantly talking about and making hacks about is on the blueprint. You want to know, oh, Cyn, how do you pick products? How do you pick a good hairstylist? How do you trim your own hair? How do you detangle with oil? All of the different things that I tell you not to do and the things that you do in its place, they are all within the growth cycle blueprint. And there's this thing that's called drip, where I add different things to the course throughout the lifetime of the course. It can be for any reason, right? For any reason at all. And within the growth cycle blueprint group is everything, right? Because we don't go for the arguing and any of that. When you have a problem, you ask your question within the group and I make a video for you. That's what the blueprint is all about. So as you hold on to your oils, your greases, and your butters, that's fine. If that's what you want to do it. Nobody's going to stop you. And I'm not going to call you names and stuff for doing it. If that is what you want to do, then do it. But you have so many options. I even have ebooks that tell you the silk amino acids that the body should hold and what fruits and vegetables that you should eat to encourage sebum production and so many different things. But it doesn't matter how many videos you come across. It is basic anatomy that the human scalp, regardless of race, has a sebaceous gland, and you do not need oil. And it is also a scientifically proven fact that Black people produce more sebum than everybody else. So the idea that Black women don't produce sebum is literally the biggest myth out there. And because of this lie, it has made it so you guys do the craziest things to your hair, where in reality all you have to do is keep the scalp clean and comb your hair on a regular basis. But your hacks are like, don't wash for 6 months, don't comb for 6 months, only use sulfate free shampoo, block the follicles, put a bunch of oils and grease and butters, don't comb the hair, don't brush the hair. Everything that you're supposed to do to increase hair growth, your patterns and routines tell you not to do those things. So let's try something different, right? If you want to see hair growth, you adding oils and butters to the scalp is not going to be the thing that does it. And I don't care how irritated or mad or frustrated you are by what I have to say. Take your time, stop, slow down, breathe, and really, really do your research for yourself. Not on YouTube, not with other people who still need to study and do research, but look in some real scientific journals and look at the complexity of your body and understand that right now, as we speak, as you're listening to the sound of my voice, your body has everything that it needs to thrive, and all of this other mess is background noise. So I love you guys so much. Make sure you check the links in the description box below, girl. And if you want to join the 7-day challenge or the growth cycle blueprint, links are in the description box below. I love you. Bye.